Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today, let's talk Fear the Walking Dead, Season 2, Episode 2. Alright guys, so first off, I just want to say this episode, in my opinion, was a mid-good. Now, I do know it wasn't fantastic, it didn't blow me away, but I will honestly say I did enjoy this a little bit better than the premiere episode, and not even a lot happened really in this episode. Actually, one of the cons is something I'm a little worried about throughout this season, and that's it felt like it's a story of the week. You get what I'm saying? Because you know those detective shows where you get one criminal case this week, next week it's something else. This feels like it has that similar structure where episode 2 we have this family. The family who they're set up, they're a little touched, they're kind of survivalists, but if all goes bad, they're going to just kill themselves. They have these poison pills stashed. We later see the daughter, she takes hers early, which means this is something they did practice, because the son said the daughter took hers, or his sister. She took her pill already, which in my opinion, this is something the whole family knew about. They even practiced with the kids and showed them that if anything happens, this is what you got to do. Take this pill and whoop-de-whoop. Again, that's something I'm worried about throughout this season. It's just going to be story of the week episodes, which could make it harder to predict what's going to happen next. Because again, we could be following some long-term story like Strand and who's he talking to, where they're really going to go. And we could get an episode where we don't even touch base with that. We all of a sudden are introduced to new characters, a new story we had no idea was coming. For some fans, that could be really interesting and refreshing and new. However, for me, I do enjoy more of an overall story where things connected to it and it feels like one long story instead of little splinter stories along the way, if you get what I'm saying. Now, I'm not saying this is a total negative, because this could end up very interesting and it could be very refreshing for The Walking Dead. I just hope it's not the same for every episode where we meet new characters and for whatever happens, either they die, they don't want to come, they fight, they argue, or they happily part ways. I just don't want to see the new characters leave every episode like that kind of structure in this story of the week. You feel what I mean? Like, see, episode 2 we get this new family, none of them come. Episode 3 we get the shipwreck survivor, okay, she comes. Episode 4 we get this other bad group, we get away from them. Episode 5, a whole new area we search, we get out of there. Episode 6, that bad group's back, we kill them. Episode 7, you get what I'm saying, where it's little things, but again, it could be cool and refreshing. So I'm not shitting on it yet, but I'm just expressing my worry moving forward. And I think to highlight that, let's look at my other con with this episode, the kid. This was about saving the kids, and again, when you go back to rewatch it or you watch it for the first time, in a comedic way, it's almost like it doesn't even matter, because we start this episode by finding this family. Not start it, but you get what I'm saying. In the beginning of the episode, we get introduced to this family, and it builds up to a story where it's like, okay, we need to save this family because the dad has this whole, we're going to do a family suicide pact if we can't survive this, or if the walls come down. And then close to the end of the episode, it's kind of like, okay, that's our mission, that's our goal, we're going to save these kids and get them out of here. And then at the end, it's just kind of like, oh, that's what we're going to do, that's what the story was going to do, but this kid just shows up on the boat, points a gun at us, takes the kid and leaves. So it's like, okay, we introduced the kid, nope, he's not really coming with us. Do you see what I'm saying, where it gets kind of comedic? So I'm hoping that doesn't repeat, because if that does constantly repeat, it doesn't matter if, again, they don't want to come with us, they peacefully depart, it doesn't matter if they die, it doesn't matter if our group runs away from them or hides, it doesn't matter. It's just repeating the same structure over and over each episode throughout the whole season. That's something that I wish they do not do, and be careful to not repeat too much. Let's jump over to some pros, because I'm starting to really dig this aspect being on the boat. I love how chilling and mysterious it is. You have the voice on the radio, this Jack guy. Now, he might be the same person that killed these people in the boat. He could be the same person that's on the radar, but even more terrifying, he might be a whole different group of bad people. He might be someone who's totally different from the person on radar, which means they now have two little groups of people to worry about. And it could be a third person that even killed. Now, I know that's getting crowded. I'm just letting you know That's how ramped up the fear is right now, and how it's mysterious and it's chilling and it's kind of terrifying. You're on the boat, you're vulnerable. You don't have a lot of ammunition or guns, or at least we don't think they do, because Strand is hiding shit. But that's terrifying, because where are you going to hide? You can't just run. You can't duck off in the woods. You can't run through a city and duck in an alleyway. I mean, you can't really get away, because if they can catch up to you and they can go faster than you, they will catch up to you. They will board you. They will sink you. They will something. But it's not good. Whatever they do, it's not good. So I love how creepy and chilling that is. That's a big pro. If they could continue that and not stretch it out, but highlight some of the horrors of being in that situation, I do believe they're on to a winning formula. Which leads me to my other pro, meeting new survivors. I like that aspect. We're not always going to like the new survivors we meet or the stories that they take part in. However, it gives us the ability to see a refreshing new element each episode, instead of the story continuing with the main base of characters we know, just doing different things. We get introduced to these new characters, and for the most part, they're probably not going to stay. It would, again, borderline be problematic if each episode they're running into a new character to take with them. You see what I'm saying? And another pro that ties into all this is this does have the potential to be interesting. I'm not saying this is very interesting at this point, because there's still a lot of criticisms for the show, but as far as my interest is piqued a little bit more, because with this formula, it's different than The Walking Dead, yet it's kind of similar. With The Walking Dead, they are going from place to place, they're moving around, especially in the early seasons. However, with the boat, there's that new element to it, because you have them on a boat traveling to different areas that are completely new, that are completely different. With The Walking Dead, even when you're traveling, it's woods, little community, woods, little store, town area. With this, you have oceansides. You can go into an ocean area that's heavily populated, tourist areas. I mean, you can go anywhere, bounce up and down the coast, and the potential for new and different and exciting atmospheres, areas, characters, it's in a higher variety, I feel, than the regular show. And this is going to seem like a small pro, but I do want to talk briefly on, do they climb? When Chris, and I like this for development for Chris, however, I do wish they would kind of pull back a little bit on his little bitchness, because Chris has this cool moment where he wants to help. He wants to put the walkers down, and that's awesome. Step up. I like that part of Chris. I even like the actor when he was being a little bitch Chris, yelling at his dad in the previous episode before he punched him in the face. And I like the actor's presentation there. I like his screaming and his acting in that moment. However, when they get to the point where he turns to bitch Chris, it's when it breaks for me. And they did that with this new episode where he's on the fence, he's helping out, he's putting the walkers down, he's stepping up, and that is awesome. But then his dad comes over, and instead of just being cool about it, which I know this is the character, but it rubs me the wrong way. Instead of being cool about it and be like, you know what, Dad, just chill, I'm helping. And that might seem like what he did, but he didn't. He turns into this little bitch Chris again, giving him this long, I'm going to kill you next with the pick-ass stare. A bitch ass with a pickaxe, you know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, chill, okay? Calm down with your little bitch fits. So it's just a little tweak, but it's something that rubs me the wrong way. And again, maybe it's supposed to. I hope the character develops a little more. We do see a little more of Nick. He had some development here. He's good with kids. He seems like a genuinely nice person, He's a drug addict, so what? He still seems like a good person. You have Alicia, who didn't really show a lot more in this episode. Madison does. She's starting to break down that that wall where we need to just focus on our own. She's like, you know what, we can't do this anymore. We gotta help people. Travis is being realistic, except for when he's walking up to strange houses being like, hey guys, we have, no weapons, we're not gonna hurt you at all, but we do have a boat and some supplies. We have plenty of water, By the way, we are unarmed, just to let you know. Yeah, it seems silly. But again, this could be something where we're going to see Travis change and be a little paranoid and a lot less trusting moving forward. Back to Chris, because I totally went off base here, but when Chris is on the fence and he's putting the walkers down, Chris asked the other kid if they climb. And that is something that has been talked about a lot in The Walking Dead, where season 1 and 2, I believe more in season 1, but the walkers use rocks, they climb, some of them are even seen running or moving too fast. They're definitely different than they are now. And the reason for that, a lot of people like to talk about theories and they were fresher than they are now, but none of that is true. The truth about the walkers moving and using rocks is simply because it's a different showrunner. It's just a different showrunner. And I have an interesting video. I was rereading The Walking Dead yesterday because I have some comparison videos coming up, and something I seen that I've never seen before. It was like, holy shit, I think this is why Frank Darabont has walkers using the door handles. I think this is why the teddy bear girl picked up her teddy bear, bunny. I think this is why they climb and whatever, because there's a few images, especially one in particular, where they do that in the comic. And I've never seen it before. It slipped by me, and I went and looked at the script that Robert Kirkman wrote, and it doesn't say that. It doesn't say to do that. So that could be something that Tony Moore drew up, and it looked cool, and Frank Darabont ran with that. And that's all it is. Darabont had a different vision of what the walkers were going to do, or what they were able to do. And then after him, when he got fired or whatever, and we transitioned over to a new showrunner, the special effects team and the new showrunners and everyone else involved, producers, pretty much came into a unified agreement and said, you know what, the walkers are just going to be like, they're not going to, like Frankenstein, they're not going to climb, they're not going to use rocks. And that was a decision based on just getting the walkers to be consistent, as opposed to season 1. That's something they didn't want. That, again, different showrunner. Enough about that. I just want to throw that out there because I still get a lot of questions. I did a video on that, but a lot of fans constantly ask when they go back and rewatch the episode. But anyway, this episode was good. It was a little more interesting. I did enjoy it. And again, even when I'm being negative about this show, it is still an interesting show to me. Mostly because, again, I'm a huge zombie fan. Alright, thoughts and opinions about Fear the Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 2, down in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.